Custom Ink can help you recognize employees, show customer appreciation, and outfit your teams with your favorite products and brands customized with your logo. At CustomInk.com, you can easily make your mark on all sorts of products, including water bottles, backpacks, polos, jackets, and so much more. Make Custom Ink your go-to business partner with great customer service, quality products, and all-in pricing with personalized help when you need it and an easy-to-use website when you don't. All backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to CustomInk.com to get started today.
Pia Zadora.
I want to thank all the little people.
The little people. All right, kids. It's I'ma Let You Finish.
We're back.
With Amy and Courtney.
Amy and Courtney.
Presented in partnership with Listening Party.
We're no longer Oprah and Gail.
No, we're not. We're taping at the lovely Canal Street Radio inside of the great Canal Street Market. Come down here if you're in New York. And come see us sometimes if you're down in
why
New York.
not? We got
a big glass window. You can wave. You can
We'll
scream.
be the white girl and the black guy in a glass window.
We like donuts.
We like churros.
We like edibles.
We like coffee.
But we don't like Oprah and Gail anymore.
No. I was never a huge Oprah fan to begin with, but I think talking about Oprah and Gail, we're just going to take a break because you know what? They're going to do
they're
something
talking about themselves
right enough
that they need a break.
And this morning, Oprah and Michelle Obama were in my neighborhood, so the entire neighborhood was sort of on lockdown. So you know what? We'll save them for the next show because they're going to do something fucked up in the next 2 weeks.
Of course, and Oprah will find her way in the story. It'll be a story about...
She's going to do the Meghan McCain autobiography.
Or something, and she'll find a way to be like, I don't know why people are upset with me.
I don't understand. Harvey Weinstein seems like a perfectly nice man.
So, any news you heard this week about anything?
I don't know. Such a boring news week. Nothing was really going on. There was this thing that happened like on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, there was like a fake trial.
There was like a fake trial with like Adam Schiff, but not the one from Law and Order. And
someone I guess was acquitted in a trial that had no witnesses or evidence.
Yeah. Well, Courtney, you're so 2019 that you want witnesses and evidence in a trial. Okay, first off, I just feel like someone has been punching me for 3 years.
In the stomach.
In the stomach, in the face. And they have finally stopped punching. No. Well, yeah, I don't have that one.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling ever. Honey.
I guess it's like being punched in the ovaries, I guess.
No, I don't think anything feels like when you crunch a testicle. It's like a moment where you're like,
I'm sorry,
I'm going to die.
Have you ever had a pap test? I'm sorry, have you ever had a mammogram? We are not going to have the discussion about what part of your body hurts more when somebody gets a hold of it. Have you ever had a baby?
Listen, we have to have fucking, Listen, we have to have prostate exams too. Things go in places too. That's like,
yeah,
hey, wow, wait, hey.
Nice to meet you.
You didn't even give me a fucking drink first.
I know. All right, so obviously, look, it's the thing that's terrifying other than everything, other than the fact that democracy as we know it, which has never been a guaranteed thing, kids. People think democracy, it's like, it's guaranteed, like electricity and air. Democracy as we know it is done, is that this fucking piece of shit is going to now be taking prisoners, taking numbers. We're one step away from locking up people that he doesn't agree with.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, don't cry for me, Argentina territory right now. It's
the
terrifying.
level of bold and listen, he's already started just chop, and he's going to win again.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling people he is going to win again. The thing is, when you have a good economy, it's hard to remove a president. And right now, it doesn't matter if you feel like your life hasn't changed, if you feel like your bills are still the same and your kids' school is still expensive. People feel like they can go shopping, they can do things. It's a state of mind.
Well, if the thing is that if you have stock, the reality is that the people who support him are the people that are being the most adversely affected by his economic policies. But they're also, we're talking, this is Jonestown now.
Yeah.
Without the Kool-Aid. These people are now.
I feel like the Kool-Aid's coming.
Yeah, these people are just invested in him. They can't. I don't know, but all I know is that it's just incredibly demoralizing, and it.
Well,
just
we watched bullshit.
Bullshit.
We
I
watched-
couldn't even watch most of it
Right.
because the thing is that I was like had to have a moment of self-love.
Here's
I'm
what-
like, how many churros can I
Right.
eat?
You know what made me not watch all of it? When from the beginning, the Republicans were very vocal in saying, we're working with the White House to get this
Yeah,
over
we
as
don't give a
quickly as
fuck.
possible.
Yeah, we don't care.
As possible. With no witnesses. We don't want. So it's like, this isn't a real trial. And if you're just going to go by party line and do it, then do it. But I will say it's going to be really interesting. This is how history will look back at this moment and look at what the Republican Party has kind of surrendered. They've become the party of Donald Trump. And they're so afraid that everybody's like, fall in line. And then to see them the next day, all of them on this tour, I think he's learned his lesson.
Oh, that I love. He's
I'm like,
learned
so
his lesson.
Is this
Yeah,
is it?
because every person who has been getting away with something their entire life, this is good. What, you think this is his stunning moment of clarity, Donald Trump? He's never had a fucking stunning moment of clarity.
And let's just be clear. And listen, I don't care. I have friends who are Republican. I have friends in every party, right? But I always say, be careful. This is you're having this moment.
Right.
But everything in politics
Can change.
It goes in a circle.
So what happens when the Democrat comes in and they decide to target
because
you?
it's the Democrats' fault. Remember when Barack was in office,
Right, the Merrick Gardner thing.
Even before that, remember they couldn't get things through
Right,
Congress,
right.
and they changed the rules
on
how many votes you need to get stuff passed because they just couldn't get past the Republicans.
I know.
And that has come back to haunt them in this administration because that number changed. And, it's like, and I feel like you shouldn't just be able to change that shit. If the number is this, Congress used to fight, but work it out to get shit done.
I know.
You do that kind of shit.
The whole thing is just, like I said, it's just horribly depressing. It just shows how low the bar is that we're applauding Mitt Romney.
It just rolled past us.
Yeah.
Did you see it? It rolled past.
We're applauding Mitt Romney for doing his fucking job.
And he's the worst.
And
Let's
he's the
just
worst.
face it.
And
He's
Lamar
the worst.
Alexander is not even running for re-election, so what's his fucking excuse?
Because they all fall on the party line.
And Susan Collins is a fucking cunt. There, I said it.
You know
I don't
what?
give a fuck
I
anymore
can't-
about her.
there's
She's
something-
ridiculous.
I feel like
to deliberate.
It's almost like she likes to hear her name on the news.
Yes.
She's always the one to come up to act like I'm going to be a moral
I'm
authority.
going to be the savior.
And then she falls right in line.
No, she knows
every time.
People in Maine.
And then she's like,
get rid of her.
I know that he's learned a lesson. Well, then what's the next thing? Well, I hope. It's like you hope.
No, he ain't. He hasn't. He has never apologized for anything in his life.
First of all, this man just does really. It's just really foul shit, right?
Yeah.
And then you watch them all sitting at that his victory lap press conference, just lapping it up, and they look like they were all like, "Please point me out. I support you. Point me out.
Or,
Acknowledge me.
excuse
Acknowledge me."
How about being at a prayer breakfast and trashing faith?
Right.
Trashing faith.
But yet the Christians love him. They think that's amazing. God has sent them. And I'm like, you know what? I want you all to believe that because none of you, I feel like, do you guys read your Bible? Did you understand the part about false idols and false gods?
They read the good parts. All right, you know what? We're depressing ourselves and there's no churros here. Let's talk about something that's really important.
The Grammys.
The Grammys, come on. I mean, come on.
You know what's funny about that? Neither Amy and I really,
I watched part of it. I was turning back and forth, but 90 Day Fiancé was on.
I flicked in part of it.
I flicked in flack.
We actually did not give a shit about the Grammys.
Not
You
really.
can tell by our Grammy show. We were like, yeah, I think this is nominated.
Yeah.
I think that
I
maybe
didn't even
she'll
know.
win
I
this.
didn't even know. Okay, I'm such a fucking moron that we're sitting there and please, we're theorizing like, look at us, Billie Eilish. Well, you see, I mean, you can tell she's not even in this category. Oh, the category that she won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Alicia Keys, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Bless her heart, Ernest. She did step up and say a little something, but then she just turned it into like she's like the human equivalent of like I don't know what she's just so nurturing and caring. I just want to. For a woman that stole someone's husband away, she's just so. I'm sorry. She's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And you know what? All her black female fans left at that moment.
Yes.
Allegedly.
But anyway, look. I mean, the show was The show was whatever. To me, there were some really good moments. I thought that Rosalia was really, really good. I thought that Billie Eilish was really good. It was a very good performance. I have no use for those things when they throw 9 million people who have nothing to do with each other. The thing that really upset me is that there was such... I have spent the last 3 weeks on social media fighting pissed off old white men between the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and between this. And of course, I don't have to do this, but the backlash against Billie Eilish just really blows my mind. It's like, what do you want? People moan and groan. There's no real musicians, and people don't play instruments, and people don't sing. Okay, so then you get a kid who's a real musician, who plays an instrument, who really can sing, who co-writes her songs. No, she's fake. She's contrived. What else is new?
That comes back to the women's shit, right?
It's totally
people. She's a young girl, and it's an easy target.
No one said Lil Nas X is fake and contrived. I mean, I'm being very serious, though.
Well,
why is he authentic? Because he came out. He's authentic and she's fake and contrived.
Well, we'll see, right? Because I think they still look at him as a novelty act because it's been that song and then Panini. That still seems like...
No, he has a new single out with Nas.
Yeah.
But what's that about?
Right.
Is it Nas's single or Lil Nas?
No, it's Lil Nas X. And listen, and I like that Nas kind of gives him a little bit of a cosign.
Right.
But what I think I said this to you on our last show. I need a full album.
Me too.
Who are you? Okay, you've said you've had your moment. You've told your truth. Now it's about, all right,
who are you as an artist?
What do you have to say?
I don't. You're right now. You're a meme.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Be a little bit more like do something without the 5,000 remixes.
Because I need to see who you are. What is a body of work from you?
Right.
What do you have to say? Because a lot of people will come. We can go through fucking the decades and go, this person had a huge record and a huge moment.
He's the gay Peter Guns, I have a feeling. We're going to get... I don't know what Peter Guns just popped into my head, and I'm afraid.
Because you watch Love and Hip Hop. Is he still on that?
No, but he's going to be hosting Cheaters.
Well, that's appropriate.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, no, I don't know why. I apologize for the Peter Guns reference. I apologize to Lil Nas X for that. But I'm just thinking of somebody who had a great one song.
I was at Columbia for that. And the issue with them is they had that song.
Where's Lord Tariq?
Well, right. It's like... They had the song, but they didn't have an album ready, and they took almost a full year to make an album.
Because he was having babies with everybody who wasn't nailed down.
By the time the second single came out, it was almost a year after that, and no one cared. Like, you have to be ready. You have to be ready.
Especially in hip-hop, because the attention span is like a gnat.
I mean, you see Nicki Minaj has a new song, but I don't really feel like people are talking about it.
I think Nicki Minaj I think she's another one. I mean, we're getting a little, but I think she's someone who is burning through her goodwill, like fucking.
We have somebody we're going to.
Like a brush fire. She's burning through that good. But anyways, I was saying the Grammy. Even summation, the Grammy. I think that Billie was deserved. I think I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was like everything.
Why'd she do that fucking ballad?
She has nothing but ballads.
No, there are other songs that have a little bit of...
because she did a good... I thought it was because it's a really good showcase for seriousness.
Right,
She's seated, she's serious, but I just find it really astounding. At the end of the day, this is a kid. She just turned 18, okay? She's a Hollywood kid, but still a kid. They're trashing the way she looks. They're trying...
I'm not mad. Listen, I'm like, leave her alone. I don't care about how she looks and all of that shit. I'm just like... I hate when people get the big performance and they're always like, I'm going to do track 8, my slow song.
No. This was a single that she did.
Okay.
It was one of her singles. No, it wasn't like, it wasn't like the B-side of the remix in Uruguay, okay? It was an actual fucking single.
What was the name of it? That's my point.
I don't know the names of any of her songs. No,
I
really
know Bad
don't.
Guy.
No, Bad Guy and Zanny.
And what's the other one?
No, this is an actual single. It was one. There was a video for it and everything like that.
And then there was one. I saw the one. She's driving the car. She's like, I'm a sympathetic.
I don't know, but it's funny when you listen to her lyrics. Though, all kidding aside, they're very, very mature for a kid to be singing. Like they're a little Lolita-esque. But anyway, the Grammys were fine. It's on to the next one.
You know what the best part of the Grammys were?
The commercials?
Not the televised portion, but what happened the night before when they were giving the Icon Awards to people.
Sookie.
And Puffy gave his big speech about the Grammys and blacks, only to be reminded that he might be one of those producers who's taking the Barry Gordy model where...
Beyond. He's taken Barry Gordy squared.
Or like according to Khalees, the Neptunes model, where
Or
it's
the
like
Celia Robinson
you
model.
get these young people, and you know they don't have managers and lawyers, and you're
Right.
like, I got the lawyer for you. This is a deal.
Right.
And I always look at these lawyers.
Use my girlfriend who's the stylist.
And I always look at these lawyers. I'm like, you know, you're sitting across from these young people.
Yeah.
And you know that the contract they're signing is some bullshit. How are you advising them and telling them that this is a good thing? So Mace basically called out Puff for, you know, not really having any publishing on his music,
nothing.
not
Right.
making any money from it. And I know that has been a theme for a lot of people who sign with like the Svengali
Right.
that has a record label. And you know, like I said, I think some of these newer kids are smarter in realizing.
Oh, I think that
to have their
I think
business
the newer kids are more concerned about the business than they are about the creativity in a lot of ways.
And you see some of these horror stories, and it's kind of like, you know, it's true. Like you're blasting the Grammys at the same time. You've had all of these artists, and none of them really had any money, and you've been living quite well for a very long time.
Yeah, it's not like he started. The thing is, look, I mean, that's the problem with Puffy. What he said about black music never being respected and hip hop never being respected by the Grammys, spot on. He's absolutely spot on. But the problem with Puffy is he's not the messenger, because he's saying that, and then on the other hand, it's like, but I have been fucking over my artist for years. Excuse me, who got all the money for I'll Be Missing You? Sting.
Right. And let me just say this. You know, as a black person, the hardest thing is I've worked at a lot of black companies with black people. And the shit that we have done to each other, things that I've witnessed, things that I've had to fight through. And I'm like, you know, we're giving this speech about outside people, and we do our own dirty.
Yes.
Really dirty.
That's why you can't have nice things.
Really, really, really dirty. I've seen
we fuck
some
each
things.
other up. Women do it to each other too. People.
Oh, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute.
No,
when we
women.
get to
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's because we've been brainwashed into like cannibalizing our own, which is we don't realize that the power structure. We're not the power structure. So why are we beating up on ourselves when the power structure is that old white guy in the office somewhere?
And here's the thing: I'm not saying if you're the mad genius behind something that you shouldn't make money and you shouldn't be wealthy. It's the American way.
Yeah, yeah.
But how do you look at a bunch of kids that you're signing to be like, use this lawyer, use this, and give them a contract where you know you're giving them none of their publishing, even the songs they've written and produced.
It's like
you're
Chess
keeping
Records.
everything.
It's like the old Chess Records. Though.
How you look, and then standing up to be like, I want to say something about how we're treated, and it's like, go back, Sherry Dennis. Go through the list of people who are on Bad Boy.
Right.
And you think about it.
Where's Carl Thomas now?
And he still tours and he works, but it's different for him. Like, who's really living a great life, who made money and living from
on
publishing?
Bad Boy?
Puffy.
Puffy, that's the only one.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot with Puffy. I mean, Puffy's always been like kind of slippery. Okay, I mean, it's not like, and that's one of the good things and bad things about hip hop is that hip hop, you know, it's coming from people. You know, you always have one foot in where you're coming from. It's the same with country. You never quite 100% out of, you know, the folks you grew up with. But the thing with Puffy is, I think Puffy is really trying to establish himself now. Look, Russell's out for the count.
Right.
Russell's done.
Right.
Right. Andre Harrell, nobody cares about Andre Harrell anymore. Puffy is going to establish himself as sort of the legitimate.
Well, he's got that label out of that.
Who, Andre?
Andre.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's never had a persona the way that Puffy does.
Right.
Puffy, we know who Andre Harrell is, but the average schmuck on the street has no idea who Andre Harrell, even unless you rode the subway in the 90s and saw those goddamn subway ads from Motown.
And it was like, are you the... Oh,
are
okay.
you? You're one of the Supremes now?
Right.
That's amazing.
Like, okay, great.
That's great. You can't hurry love. Why am I looking at you in the first thing in the morning? No, but I think that Puffy is really trying to... I think, you know, I mean, he's got 9 million kids. Kim dying, I think, really, really made an impact. So I think he is trying to mature and stuff like that. But who else is there that can be the voice of reason for hip-hop? Him and Jay.
Right.
That's it. Who else? I mean, Nas doesn't really
speak
on hip-hop that much anymore.
And listen,
you know?
and you talk to a lot of people when you talk about both of them, and there's a little bit of scorched road behind both of them. And their bodies in the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
Listen, to get to certain levels of success, I absolutely realize most people do not get to be that huge and that successful without having some bodies in the road.
Yeah, no, you have to
do
that.
That's just part of the game.
Right.
But I always wonder with guys like him, so you sign these young kids, you're like, I can make your dreams come true.
Right.
How do you look across and know that what you're giving them is really fucking them.
Well, because they rationalize. It's the same way. How does anybody do anything to anybody? How do people hire people for, people they know are undocumented and exploit them? You know what I mean? How do people treat each other like shit? All he's doing is treating people like shit, or has, past tense, treated people like shit on a bigger, more interesting scale. There's always that one kid who wants to be famous. So if you say to a kid and throw him out
but there's
there.
a lot of people, that talent, that's the way I can change my family's life. I have this talent, you know what I mean? And it's like, listen, I'm not saying give them the whole house, but I think there should be...
Give them a room, at least.
Yeah, there should be some fair wage. If I'm writing these songs and I'm singing, like, I should have some of my publishing. But, the new kids have learned that. These new kids are not... They know.
Well, and also, not only have
they understand the value.
Well, not only have they learned it, and it kind of ties in what we're going to talk about, now that they learned it, they're just cutting out the fucking middleman. They'll just go online and buy the goddamn beat. I don't need you to write my song. I'm just going to go buy the beat for $30.
Well, now it also takes 17 people to write a song.
17.
Everybody, I wrote 2 words. I get a percentage.
Right. And I was thinking of those 2 words, I get a percentage.
Wasn't the Lizzo lawsuit over the line? I'm 100% that bitch.
And then also over, yeah,
It's like...
She was good on the Grammys.
Right. Yeah.
She was very good on the Grammys.
To me, that was the best she's been.
No, easily. She was very, very good.
Vocally, that was the best.
No, she looked great. Everything was. She was just. She hit it right on. Right in the moment.
Speaking of not their best, Madonna.
Oh God.
This is a plea.
All right, this is the moment. This is where I'm just going to sit here and make it stop. Make it stop.
This is a plea from one of your oldest fans who's loved you from the beginning. You're even making me sick of you.
Do better,
Stop
Madonna.
the fucking bullshit.
Get
on stage.
Give a little background.
So
on
she's
this.
in London. She's already canceled a bunch of shows there too.
Because she's injured.
London, unlike New York, where motherfuckers pulled the "I'm coming on at 11" when the curfew is, and I'll just
London shuts down at 12.
Paying all of the overtime charges. Oh, and then tried to act shocked at the end of the band run when she got a big bill.
Oh yeah, my friend told me that she literally bought the crew there cars. I mean, she didn't do it, but she spent so much money on OT.
It's like, Miss Thing, you can't start a show at 11 o'clock. This is their union houses. Like, you can't start at the time the shows are supposed to be ending.
Yeah, you can. You can. Just don't complain when you get the check the next day.
And then be like, how dare you? I'm Madonna. They're like, yes, thank you so much.
We're an IATSE house.
And we would like to, here's our wire transfer number.
Right, exactly.
Please send it over.
We just went into double OT mealtime.
So,
so she's in
London at the Palladium, starts the show late. So, of course.
Oh, not just late, my friend.
Well,
not just late.
Well, she didn't know because the show was supposed to end at 11. So she didn't start at 11 there. She didn't pull that shit there.
Okay.
At 11... is when they dropped the curtain and turned her mic off.
Because in England, first off, they're very stressed out right now. Yeah. And also, there's real unions in these countries.
Well, more than that. Unlike New York,
the country shuts down.
And transportation things shut down. Unlike New York, where you're like, okay, we're pissed. I left Madonna's show, and it was 2 in the morning, maybe.
Wow.
Close to 2 in the morning when I left her show at BAM.
Yeah.
Something, it was real because we had no phone. But over there, so of course you hear her cursing.
Right.
And but now the audience, I'll give it to the audience. The audience they turned on all the house lights.
No, they were good.
The audience did not leave though. They stomped and screamed, and she came out.
You're talking about in London.
And saying, she's really mad. But it's like, girl, listen. This tour, which should have been a triumph because people have not seen you in a small theater tour,
it's been a
has been a
it's
been a disaster. And you're kind of acting like a petulant child. If you know there are rules here, you don't get to just keep breaking them. Stop disrespecting your fans. Come on time. Do the fucking show.
And also stop positioning it like, the thing is, you're positioning it like you're being silenced. Bitch, come on, all right? Come on. Not for nothing, but you are not one of the great... You've done some politically cool stuff, but you are not a revolutionary.
You're not being silenced. You were late.
Yeah, you were not being silenced, okay? No one is hauling you off to a camp and silencing you.
Here's the thing. I've done tours a long time. We know... You give... people always think, and then the artist comes on at 9:36, but you know what? Backstage in those contracts... Everybody knows what time you're coming on.
Of course they do.
The ticket may say 8. You'll know. She comes on at 9:20.
Yes.
She's off at 11:02.
Yes.
You know.
It's very precise.
So you cannot just keep doing what the fuck you want to do in these venues. It's like it's not just you. And
Well,
you got to think about your fans getting home.
And we've talked about this. I'm not taking anything away from her legacy. I'm not taking anything away. But some point, at some point when you're faced with two people and one of them is nice, and one of them does, and then the other one's acting like a fucking brat, you're going to go, you know what? I'm going to go with the one who's not acting like a brat. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that when we were talking about the Super Bowl, and we're going to go into that, but one of the reasons we both liked it and people like is because neither one, they look like they were having fun.
Right.
Madonna doesn't even look like she's enjoying it anymore.
No, it's a little weird. She's up there sometimes, and she's been this tour like yelling at the audience and shit.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's like, bitch, I paid $1 gazillion to get cursed out.
She's like Triumph the Insult Comic Dog now, and she's like screaming
You're
at
getting
people.
cursed out over the new songs. You're not even getting cursed out over like Rescue Me or some shit.
Right,
you're getting cursed out over like Putana Puta.
Right, you're yelling at everybody because they can't. Now let's sing along, but it's in Portuguese. Nobody here sings Portuguese.
Speaking of Portuguese,
are we?
Speaking of Portuguese,
yeah.
I wish we were talking about Portuguese when we talk about the Knicks, because it feels like we're speaking another language when we talk about the Knicks. James Dolan coming out making a statement saying, "I'm not selling the team," to me was the most deflating thing. That was even more deflating than Trump, because we knew from the beginning that was fixed. That this whole thing was bullshit. And the Democrat, get it the fuck together.
Can't we find?
Get it the fuck together.
Can't we get? All right, they got rid of Donald Sterling with like the racist shit, right? Yeah. Can't we? Okay, listeners, people. We need someone to take it for the team. Literally, take it for the team. We need a young child to sacrifice himself, or somebody get this man in a compromising position. I can't take it anymore.
Emergency. Paging Dr. B.
Right. Somebody just set something up with this motherfucker. What is the unicorn scoring on the Mavericks now? 70 points in 2 days or some shit like that? Oh, no. This guy's doing... Oh, look, I have a white guy from a foreign country that everybody loves. Let me get rid of him.
Marcus Morris was the one person actually scoring on the team, and they traded him away for
my God.
And he's like, thank you, because they traded him to the Clippers, who are trying to contend this year for a title.
All right, so here's the thing. So the Knicks... whatever. So what they've decided to do is, our problem isn't that we have a fucked up owner and we keep going through managers at a Quickie Lube or something like that. Our problem is that our image is bad. So now they're going to bring in Steve Stout, who... Well,
he's in there, yeah.
Steve Stout, who kind of has done a lot of things in the hip and the hop. Most noticeably, he was on the receiving end of a champagne bottle from... Was it Nas hit him with the champagne bottle or Puffy?
Puffy.
You remember that?
Do you want to know why I remember that?
I remember that because I was there and it happened because Miguel was flipping the fuck out when it happened.
Do you want to know a story about that I've never told publicly?
Okay. Wait, are we going to have time to get into...
Yeah, we do. This is our show. We have enough time.
All right.
We're skipping from the next, but here's a quick sidebar. So, that whole thing happened when Steve Stout was Nas's manager. I don't know if you guys don't remember that because it's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. You Can Hate Me Now
There was a video called Hate Me Now.
When Nas is up there like Jesus.
And originally, Nas was supposed to be in that scene by himself.
Right.
Then Puffy wanted to be in the scene. And he had this bus. They had to drive. It cost like almost $100,000 additional to get Puffy and all this stuff to do the scene. He does the scene. And then I guess his Calvin Butts was his reverend. And was like, no, you can't be on the cross. So he wanted it out. And they were going back and forth at Columbia being like, we paid so much money for this.
Right.
Okay, we're going to, all right, MTV's premiering the video. We're going to premiere this original version because we paid way too much money.
Way too much. And it was Hype Williams too, right?
Yeah, and then it was $1 million plus.
Right.
And then we'll give them the edited version and that's what they can play forever.
Right.
I was in video promotion at the time.
Yes.
I was the person who went to Sony Studios. I had the unedited version and the edited version.
Right.
I was the person who took the video to MTV.
Right.
Gave them to play, had to stand there and wait while this is back when everything was on Beta SP, because y'all don't even know that format.
Right.
I had to watch them put the Beta SP in, play the original version of the video for the premiere. I had to wait for it to be over, take that tape back, and then give them the edited one. So I have it. I have the tape. Video airs. All hell is breaking loose. I have no idea.
Right.
I'm the only person in the world at that moment with an edited copy. With the
the one without Puffy on a cross.
No, the one with Puffy on the cross.
Oh, Puffy on a cross.
Because I'm on my way back to Sony with it, like do.
Right. Hum-dee-dum-dum-dum.
I get back, and all of like the white people have left, like in my department, and they all like, and I was like, well, what happened? Oh, child, the video you didn't hear, and it was like Puffy, Steve Style got into fight. They think he's on his way over here, and he's mad at anybody who has any involvement with the video. And I'm sitting there looking down at my lap, and I'm like, this video? Oops. The video that I knew that it was a whole thing, but I was you
didn't know what exactly.
I was the department coordinator at that time, so it was like, go get this, take this. So I knew that there was fights about it, and that the compromise was play it once. Honey, that shit blew up, and I was like, well, did anybody ever think about the person who actually had the video? That's like, does he know I have the video? Are they coming after me? I wasn't scared. I stayed at work, but everybody else
the night that happened. Myself, the late, lovely, wonderful Leslie Pitts, Amy Moore, everybody. We were down in Miami for one of the Wyclef fundraisers.
Right.
And Miguel worked with Clef.
Because he was both their publicists.
And all this shit goes down. This is when maybe one person in the world had a cell phone.
Yeah, right.
All this shit goes down. So we're driving with Miguel, and we're on like the causeway. No, we're not even. We're in Liberty fucking City. And we're pulling off in 1998, 1999. Miguel is flipping the fuck out. He's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And Leslie, bless her heart, looks at him and says, well, Nas hired an indie on it. Let her fucking do it. And you know, she's like, and she's like, come on, Miguel, you got the corporate card. Get back in there.
I mean,
well, anyway, so that's who Steve Stout is.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is that they're going to try to make the Knicks hip. The Knicks being hip is not. I kind of like the fact that the Knicks are kind of like you go in there and this is where DeBusschere. This is the Knicks hipness is not the issue.
Yeah, but now they want to hire Leon Rose, who is a CAA agent.
It's going to be,
and he's respected people like him, and they're like, yeah,
he doesn't know basketball.
Well, here's the part that I found interesting. Well, they're trying to hope that he's like Rob Pelinka, who is over with the Lakers, and they're like, yeah, you know, Steve is great and Leon is great. People really respect him. You know, he just has to find a really great GM because, you know, he's not really a details guy. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, because that's what the Knicks need.
All right,
they need the guy who's not the details guy.
Listen,
that's good.
I have 3 jobs right now going on 4. You're a freelancer. Right. What do you think? You will just why not?
Yeah, why don't they just hire us?
Why not? I'm tall.
You know what I mean?
I'm tall.
Ugh,
I don't want to be a Knicks City dancer. We can do that anyway. Yeah.
So between the Knicks and Madonna, I'm like, both of y'all, get it the fuck together.
Get it the fuck together. I can't eat any more churros. I'm going to just keep mentioning churros. They're making me happy.
Tomorrow's the Oscars. We don't care. We didn't see any of the movies.
You know, the thing is, I want to care, but I saw The Irishman and I saw Wedding Story. I know.
Well, and I didn't see, and I have Netflix. I didn't see either of them.
Yeah, and I saw Wedding Story or what's it called? Marriage Story? Wedding Story. I don't even know what it's called.
I feel like I've seen white people getting divorced movies since An Unmarried Woman.
Yeah. This is good.
I
Listen, it's fine.
Woman.
Yeah, it was good. This is a fine movie. It's all fine. I'm mad that I didn't see Parasite because I thought it was scary.
I heard that that's really good.
Well, it's on demand now.
So is it? So I'll probably watch that because I heard that that's really good.
No, I heard it's really good too. And I heard it. See, I get scared. It's playing it. And they're playing a black and white version of it now, which is really kind of bizarre. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. It's like weird. On purpose?
Right.
Did someone forget to color it? It's not like I don't care, like I'm going to be one of those people like, you know, I don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and now I'm going to rant about it.
Right.
I'm not going to watch
until they get invited and they're like, well, I'm going.
I'm going. I'm not going to watch it for the simple reason that 90 Day Fiancé was preempted last week because of the Super Bowl, which we'll discuss in a second, and it's on this week, and this week is the episode right before the last episode, and the coming attractions for it. Annie and Robert are going to get married, and then Robert's going, I don't know if I can do this, which you know, of course, means like I don't know if I can chew gum. It doesn't mean, but it's going to be really, really good. So I
hate that you watched that.
Let me tell you something. I just found out that Roxanne Gay, who is an intellectual, and Akiba Solomon, who is an intellectual, all these really smarty pants people watch it. So I mean, all praise is due to Candace for turning me on. It's educational.
No, it's like I was surprised to find
It's
out.
on the Learning Channel. Must I drive this home to you again? It's educational.
But then again, so was that Honey Boo Boo shit that was on
it?
Alert. I think so.
I'm also watching Love After Lockup, which
oh my
is
God,
like
my best friend Fred and his.
Does Fred watch it?
Fred and
Oh,
Tyrus.
Fred and I need to talk.
Fred and Tyrus are Love After Lockup,
Okay.
Life After Lockup.
Yeah.
They don't play. They watch
No.
shit.
That show is a walking advertisement for birth control.
No, listen. My weakness and my secret horrible reality show that I still watch is very Cavallari.
All right, you have no grounds to talk to me at all. You have no fucking. I'm sorry.
The thing is,
I rebuke you. I'm not even listening to you. I'm not even listening to you
here's the
anymore.
thing. It's not my fault. I watched The Hills originally, right? I was one of those people who was into The Hills.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. We have to end right now because I have to go outside and throw myself into oncoming
really
traffic.
like Kristen Cavallari.
I always thought that that's kind of pasta. No, I have never. Listen, here's the thing.
I do. I like her for some reason.
If the Real Housewives hadn't fallen off as bad as it did, and if Love and Hip Hop wasn't like so predictable, maybe I wouldn't be forced into the arms of another person.
Right.
But I have been forced into the arms of another person, and I gotta say, I am not mad at it.
Yeah, the thing about me going off I used to love the Housewives when I thought they were fun, when you kind of see
they're
like
horrible
friends.
now.
But now you realize it doesn't, the whole thing is conflict. So it's like every show is, they're
See,
yelling at
that's
each
what's
other,
good
they're
about
fighting, and I'm not into
Fiancé.
it anymore.
It's geopolitical. There's love.
Girl.
There's no. Marcel left because his family wouldn't let him marry a woman with 3 children, and he went back to Turkey, and now he's coming back, and they have 6 hours to get married, and I can't believe
He's coming back because...
No, they have 6 hours to get married. All right, you know what? I love you, but this is just I can't.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, something we all can agree on.
Now, y'all all know it's been very well documented on this show.
Yes.
How I feel about Jennifer Lopez.
And
let me just say this. Mm-hmm. I'm giving her a full week. She's got one more day of my good grace.
I called you when I found out she was doing a suit. I'm always worried that like you're gonna like go into some sort of seizure.
By Monday, I'll be back to she's relentless. And she's still relentless because now she's doing tours about, this is how I like the show. I'm like, okay, girl, whatever.
Yeah.
I had zero. Listen, I like Shakira. I love her Spanish songs. I think she's great. But I have to tell you, I had zero expectation.
We both
of the
thought
show.
when they announced who it was be, I think you and I both went, what is this, like a fucking 80s flashback?
Yeah,
like was nobody else available?
I was like, you know me, my thing. I was like, well, if we were gonna go retro, the Spice Girls just did a tour. I was like, get them. We could all spice up our life. I was like, what's this gonna be? I don't know if this is gonna be great. It was
fantastic.
I thought it was
fantastic.
The most fabulous performance. First of all, Shakira was the one who really stunned me. Like, Jennifer brought Showgirl, and I knew she, like, when she
Jennifer
started,
was like top of her game.
I was like, this is Showgirl. But Shakira gave me much more than I ever thought I was going to get from her. And I was absolutely floored. Her dancing, I just loved it. I loved everything about it. And when I hear all of these people... Well, you know what?
Well, I'm going to say, we can break. The thing is, it's really, all right, so I've always been a Shakira fan. I mean, these, whatever you want to say about both of them, these are seasoned pros.
Yep.
This is what these people do. And
Absolutely.
Jennifer Lopez, she's not anybody I really have. I mean, she seems like, all right, to me, my problem with her was always that she seemed a little too extra for herself.
Right.
But I get the sense that she's fundamentally maybe a decent person.
Yeah.
And when she has a catalog of hits, you're like, holy shit. If You Have My Love is like perfect. She's is she the greatest singer of our time? No, she's not. But she's getting better and better and better. I thought that this show the way it looked was spectacular. The lip syncing was a little off, but it wasn't anything heinous. Shakira they exuded joy.
Yeah, they really did.
They looked like they were having a blast, and in that context, they were saying some very political shit.
Yep.
Very political shit. I love the fact that a lot of it was in Spanish. I love the fact that they were representing different aspects of Latino culture, right? Are you cruising someone's father? You're looking out the window and cruising someone's father.
Hey, honey.
That child.
It's Christmas somewhere. It's Christmas somewhere, and it reminds me, the present's right here in my pants. I'm the present, baby.
Little girl's absolutely gorgeous, by the way. No, but I thought it was absolutely, and it's funny. I watched it, then I watched it online, and then
I've watched it like 18 times.
I showed it to my music journalism class because I figured something safe to show. We'll show it. Okay, 9th graders in Brooklyn. Here we go. She looks like a crackhead. Who? Shakira, she looks like a crack. I said, if that's the crackheads you're looking at every day, I want to go move into your neighborhood.
Right. I want that. I
want
that
that crack. I want that crack. I said,
right.
Those two women could crush you like a bug if they wanted to. But anyway, I thought it was great. So, of course, the backlash, of course, there has to be backlash because it's two beautiful, powerful, rich Latino women up there shaking their ass.
To me, I was like, when I heard people saying, well, what do I say to my kid? I'm like, you know what? Why don't you say to your kid, it's dancing. They're performers. Look at them.
Were they any more risque than the cheerleaders?
And here's the thing.
The cheerleaders have their boobies coming out.
They are grown. First of all.
Grown-ass women.
Pussycat Dolls, all these girls have been twerking it and whining it. And so it's a bullshit argument.
Right.
It's bullshit. It's cultural and it's bullshit.
Right. And it wasn't that even...
No,
really?
There was nothing. But I heard them like grab... Like, nobody grabbed their crotch. I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
Can I tell you something? For all of my kind of whatever, I get a little kind of conflicted about...
Yeah.
She was not grabbing her crotch. Her hand went down to her leg.
And it almost like her hand went in front, so it wasn't just full on, here's my...
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because she was wearing two costumes.
Yeah.
Underneath each other. So she may have been checking, may even like
no,
adjusting
that's
herself.
I think, the camera's right there. I don't even think it's that. I think it was really, when she did the slide, it was a full on, just not just having my legs full open in the camera.
And Bruce Springsteen did that exact same kind of... And
please.
And he's packing too.
It was such
sexist
bullshit when I hear this stuff. And what makes me really upset about it is that, I always hear women, we got to support each other, and it's coming from women. It's like women do not support other women. A lot of it is coming from women.
But a lot of women are supporting it.
They are, but a lot of the shit that is coming from women. There's men, it's not a majority of men being like, those women were doing, it's women.
No, I will say on my Facebook feed, it's a lot of men saying it was inappropriate and thinking they're being like,
What does that even mean? That's bullshit.
Well, it's completely appropriate for what it was. It would be inappropriate at 2:00 in the afternoon in the middle of the street. It's the Super Bowl. I would rather look at them than Adam Levine with his fucking shirt off.
I want people to tell me, why is dancing from other cultures that people in America need to stop sexualizing everything? People use their bodies in dance. They use their whole body in dance, especially in Latino cultures, in black cultures, in different cultures.
Well, the thing that was so funny is that
Hispanic cultures, all these cultures, Lebanese and Arabic cultures, it's the way that people move their bodies is different.
Well, I mean... I will say this. What's so funny about all the objection is, first off, they were wearing about as much clothes as your average figure skater or gymnast does.
Right.
Number one. Number two, the moves were sexy, but they were moving so hard and that it was like athletes. It was watching athletes. That stripper pole, that was the Empire State Building that she was sitting on. And if that they teach stripper... Look, I'm not a big fan of stripper culture at all. I don't like stripper culture. I don't like porn culture.
Well, the pole has been co-opted, and everybody, as soon as they see a pole, they just think stripper.
Excuse me, they teach stripper classes in Crunch.
Miss Thing, and they're worldwide pole dancing competitions. Not everything is a stripper.
And she was not rapping herself. I mean, it was not salacious.
No, I thought it was.
All.
It was like Cirque. It was like Cirque du fucking Soleil.
It was Cirque du Soleil.
People need to stop. And I the shit that I saw from other women, I'm like, you know what, guys, y'all say you support women, but you only support a certain kind of woman. They don't
I'm telling you, every woman I know is supportive of this.
I'm talking about the shit. We're not talking about people we know. I'm talking about the shit I'm reading. I'm talking about the art. The shit that counts that's being put in the universe. Like our friends, people are going to have varied opinions. Oh, this and this and that. But the shit that's really being put out there, these mothers, my child. This one woman, Marie fucking Osmond. Well,
Marie Osmond said something?
Well, she's on the talk. And she was like...
Marie Osmond?
She was like, I thought it was great. I just felt, when I saw them and the way they were dancing, they could have toned it down. I'm like, no, fuck that. Here's the thing. When people hire you, they know... When they hire Marie Osmond, they're like, we want somebody who's going to come in here and sing Paper Fucking Roses and do some covers and do all that.
And then gain weight
and do all of this shit. And then tell everybody that there are Cologuard samples out in the lobby. That's your crowd.
Excuse me, there's nothing wrong with Cologuard.
Nothing, except that's who sponsors a Marie Osmond show.
Right.
When you hire Jennifer Lopez and Shakira...
You know what you're getting.
You hire them for what they do.
Okay. You know what
you don't say do what you do, but don't do this.
No, I thought
there was nothing raunchy about that show.
No, it was
not
sexy.
Sexual,
it was sexy.
but
It
not
was not
sexual.
raunchy. No, it was sexy and not. Yeah, there's a huge difference between being sexy and something being raunchy. And what saved it in some ways, not that it had to be, but what made it, like I said, what made it so appealing, and I keep getting back to this, is that they were fucking exuding happiness.
Which to me was like, how could you not get caught up in it? I was dancing.
The pacing.
The footwork.
The
footwork. It's everything. It was phenomenal.
No, it was great. And I'm saying, it's like, how is that? I would much rather that than having to see Anthony Kiedis with his shirt off, or Adam Levine with his shirt off, or Justin Timberlake being given another chance after basically, assaulting a woman on stage. I thought they were fine.
And what I thought was, wow, these are moms. This is a 43-year-old and a 50-year-old woman showing you. We always talk about the young girls being shoved out there. These were two grown women who were owning this. They were owning everything that they gave you, and I felt that shit.
Right. I mean, what's really sad is that the fact that, look, let's be fair though. These women are athletes. They're an elite level. You know what's so funny though? So like I said, I was showing it for my class. I figured they could write about it, blah, blah, blah. And, even though it's New York City, obviously we can't show videos with content.
Right.
And I just preemptively, because I don't want to get in trouble, said, is it going to be all right? And then the principal looks at me and I went, all right, yeah, it was on fucking television.
Right.
Of course it's all right. And they didn't even, they didn't react to any of it. And these kids are much more sexualized. They see much.
Kids all over the guess what? Every kid who opens up their Instagram and internet social media is seeing 10 times worse than this. Being upset about performers is ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, they should be more concerned about the fact that they're watching a sport where men are slamming each other heads and giving each other like brain injuries. That to me, no, I thought I had absolutely no problem with it. And the thing that really made me laugh, other than the fact that a whole bunch of pearl clutching white people, was like when Shakira did that thing where she stuck out her tongue, and everybody's flipping out. All right. If anyone has ever been around anybody from an Arabic descent, that is, I'm not going to do it because I can't do it, but that's like, it's not sexual.
But even in there are a lot of in African cultures where it's like, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
Muslim.
It's absolutely just ridiculous. And I think learn something about other cultures. Learn that other cultures dance differently. People use their body differently. Those girls were dancing. They were not up there saying, come hither, come sleep with me. I think that criticism is so ridiculous. You know what? And it's easier for people to say that than to talk about all the political messages that they had in there.
Course.
The kids in the cages, being Latino and actually born in the USA. I am a U.S. citizen. Stop acting like I'm coming from somewhere else.
I'm more upset that she wears fur. I'm being very serious. I'm more upset that she's out there with a fur, and I'm more upset that she's with Alex Rodriguez because I just find him to.
He's such a cad. He's such a
yeah.
But let me just tell you,
he's. I loved her daughter being at Mark Anthony's kid. I loved that. I thought everything.
She sang better than her mother.
She was great.
Yeah, she was great.
Well, look at her father. Come on. Her father is one of the greatest singers
he really
of
is.
all time. And a super nice guy. Yeah. But so the cultural thing, and that's the thing. Some fucking piece of shit country singer was like, I didn't understand this. Why didn't they have subtitles? Okay, first off, you fucking maroon. Half a song.
To me, that kind of shit is racist. When people
no,
say
it
that
is
kind
racist.
Of shit.
No, it's totally. First off, half of the song, maybe one song, half of it was in Spanish.
Right.
Number one. And here's the thing that's so crazy. Shakira is not an American. She is not a native English speaker. It really, when you think about it, is not incumbent upon her to speak English. She speaks 7 languages.
Right. How about this?
She does not live here. So why does she have to, why is it that we are the only country in the world where we have to have our entertainment in English?
Well, how about this? The music was really good. How about if you had any kind of soul, you would have been up dancing. Even the songs where she wasn't singing in English, those songs were so dope, and that energy was dope. But you're so busy sitting around being mad and turned out and being all fucking fat and you're a fucking lazy boy and a fucking cold one in your hand.
One of my students actually said, I don't understand this. Why couldn't they have subtitles? I said, okay, first off, you put the subtitles on. I said, come on. And I said to him, he goes, I don't understand what it is. It was just a bunch of people screaming. I said, you do know that that's what everybody over the age of 40 thinks your hip hop sounds like.
Right. It's so crazy.
I could understand her better in Spanish than I can understand Future.
I felt like You know what? She's turning this
No, they were
out.
great.
How can you not get caught? If you can get caught in the energy of that, to
No,
me,
it
I'm
was
like,
great.
then you just, you're a person without joy. You're an unhappy person.
No, it was just joyful and happy, and I was very proud of you because I was concerned. I was watching it I was watching it as a consumer of pop culture and also concerned for you because I know that I know that she's your trigger.
And I had, listen, I had zero expectation. I really did. I went into it, and I was sitting there, and I was rocking. By the time, like, Shakira,
I think someone for you just walked by.
Oh, really? Hi.
All right, so when we started talking about the Super Bowl, and all these ridiculous arguments started coming in. Because one of the things that we've done because Courtney and I, we love music.
Oh my God, man down.
Man down.
He is
there are these K-pop cutouts out there, and
the One Direction boy. Not One Direction. What is it?
K-pop, BTS.
Anyway, and there's a sign on him saying you can take a picture, but
don't
please
touch
be gentle because he's fragile. And the kid just barreled into
it. Well, it's not her culture.
Right. Well,
she attacked it.
Well, there we go.
She's a little Arabic girl, and she found it offensive, and she attacked it.
And here it is these days. There's going to be protests. People are upset. They're going to be standing. We protest cardboard cutouts.
I know. Well, anyway, so when we started talking about, we like talking about all the different genres of music we listen to because there's all different types. And one of the things that came up in this conversation about the Super Bowl was the cultural context in it. Miami is 70% Latino. You get 2 Latino artists up there. They're going to represent where they come from. Shakira ended the show by dancing. I didn't know this. I looked it up. Right. That was a traditional Afro-Colombian dance.
Right.
How dope is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How fucking dope is that we have all these mishmash? So we started talking about Courtney and I, not me, the voices in my head, but me and Courtney started talking about this whole concept of like the United States and why are we the only country in the world where everything has to come to us in English all the time and how music has changed. So there's 2 kind of levels to it, right? There's what we call world beat, and I'm putting big air quotes like, the artists from other countries who sing in their native language. And then there's artists that are from other countries who just haven't made it here yet.
Right.
So I was just we were thinking about because Bad Bunny came out in the Super Bowl and J Balvin, everybody knows who they are. They're big stars. So I think there's less of an issue, in this country, if in Spanish right now, because so many people speak Spanish. Do you think, because Despacito was like the #1 song in the country a couple years ago, right? Is Spanish, you think, as much of a blocking thing as it used to be for artists?
No. Well, we're starting to see some breakthroughs, right? Because look at Rosalia. Rosalia's breaking through.
From Spain. She's from Spain.
Right, and what did she just win? Did she win? She won a Grammy this year.
She won Best Alternative Latino.
Yeah, she won a Grammy. And, her shows sell out whenever she's here. Yeah. And I think that she's having a full moment. But, Spanish is, a lot of people speak Spanish here. And that's the one language you notice that people can kind of
because we hear it. And also the thing is, when I was looking up like some of the songs that have been #1 songs that were in other languages, a lot of them are novelty songs. Like, remember the Singing Nun when we were growing up?
Oh my
God.
What was the name of some Eris 2? No, what was the name of
Eris 2, but that didn't make. Yeah, there was that. There was the Lambada.
Right.
There was Rock Me Amadeus, all this kind of bullshit. Gangnam Style.
99 Luftballons.
99 Luftballons. But it was always done sort of like as a novelty. So I think that what's really...
Right, they didn't allow them to become full artists.
Right, it was like... And a lot of, I think, one of the reasons that Latin stuff and reggae to some extent, even though it's in English, has caught on because it reminded people of their vacations they wanted. There was an exotic...
Is that what it is?
Well,
right.
part of it. There's an exotic. Who the fuck is... Not that many people go to Africa.
That's true.
So they're not exposed to it. Now, if you live in Paris... You are exposed to it, right? It's part of your culture, African music.
Yeah. Listen, one of the artists that I love, Hiro, he's Hiro.
Right.
And, I'm not going to butcher the name of his album in French. It's like De L'Amour. But I love him. Right. And his last album, which is the one I'm talking about, came out a year ago. 2018.
No, is he a singer or a DJ? What is
singer.
He? Okay.
He's a black French dude who's clearly of African descent. And the beats are great. His voice is great. And people love him there. He couldn't get arrested here.
No.
Nobody knows the music.
Well, it's like Stromae. We were talking about Stromae. Stromae is Belgian Rwandan, I believe, or Belgian. Massive all over the world.
Right.
There is no. He sings in French. Okay, I don't mind listening to something where I don't understand it. It's funny. Before I got here, I was listening to all these random things. I was listening to Bombino, who I love, who's from this weird tribe in the Sahara, and I can't pronounce the name of it, so I don't want to mess it up. And this guy Daju, who's like a Parisian French singer, who's playing the Apollo.
Oh,
all these,
nice.
yeah. And the thing is, sometimes I like listening to stuff that I don't understand because then you can just get wrapped up in the groove.
Listen, I feel, you know
what I mean?
Listen,
like you're not.
You know me in my Milan Farmer obsession.
I do.
Like a lot of people, my friends make fun of me like, oh, this is trash. She's been famous since the 80s. She does not sing in English. She has a couple of songs.
And why should
But
she?
I feel the music, and there's times I can just, it makes me look certain things up, and I get the emotion. I'm like, I know what you're trying to convey in this.
Well, you can. It's such a cliche, but it's true. I mean, music is a universal language.
Absolutely.
In the summer, if you live in the United States, if you live in New York City or any big metropolitan area, every summer you have these huge free concerts coming through. That's when you see Yusu. That's when you see Baba Mal.
Right.
That's when you see Salif Keita, all of whom. Can I tell you a really funny story about Yusu, though? Or being Baba Mal? All right, so I'm a huge Yusu Endor fan. One of the great voices of our time.
Absolutely.
And a fantastic,
beautiful
gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
And Baba Mal is also a great singer. But Baba Mal lives in Paris, so he's not as big as Yusu. So I have a really good friend of mine, Salif. And I said, Salif, let's go see Baba Mal, you know? Salif is who I went to Senegal. His family, I went to visit him in Senegal years ago.
Oh,
so I'm like...
You've been to Senegal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking great. So I said to him, come on, let's go to the show. So we go to the show, and I'm thinking, this is going to be great. Finally, I'm going to have somebody explain to me what this guy is singing about.
Right.
Because Youssou N'Dour, when I would hear him in Dakar, I'd be like, I'm making up words.
Right.
So halfway through the show, I turned to Salif, and I go, Salif, so what's Baba Mal singing? And he says, oh, I don't know. He's Fulani, and I don't speak it. And I'm like, great. Out of all the Senegalese people I know, I got to get the one.
I picked the one who's going to be like, I have no idea.
He's like, he doesn't speak Wolof. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, we've had moments. Buena Vista Social Club obviously blew up here, but I think that's because of our fascination with Cuba. Zap Mama have their moments.
They did have their moment. But that's the thing. There's certain people like Angelique Kidjo, who just won another Grammy. She's had her...
Have you heard that album she did? She did the Talking Heads album?
Oh, my God. Let me just tell you something.
Remain in Light, right? Remain in Light.
She is she's
amazing.
But I also feel like they put her in this section over here, right? And she works well in it. But she's part of that, I almost say, because she's not jazz, but she gets to fall into that crowd where it's always been a sophisticated listener that's
She's
looking
also
for more.
New York based, and I think that helps her.
Yeah.
You know, remember back in the day, like in the 90s, like in the late 80s and the 90s, Island Records and Mango Records, they would put out these unbelievable compilations of Egyptian songs and Rai music, Khaled, the real Khaled, not Khaled, you know. And I think that's...
Who has a song with Milan Farmer, Regrets.
Khaled or which
Khaled.
one? Sheb Khaled.
Yeah, they have a duet called
I want to hear
Regrets.
that because I love him. He's a hot mess too. He's like a drunken sailor, like an Algerian drunken sailor. No, he is. He's a fucking mess. I saw him a couple times, and one time he was high as a fucking kite.
Oh wow.
No, he's a mess. I mean, he's like in a good way. You would love Bombino because it's like this crazy psychedelic blues weird guitar, and he is high as a kite all the time.
Oh wow.
I know he's very, very attractive.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think it's there's no other country in the world. You go to any other, you've traveled, right? Mm-hmm. Do they listen to our music? Yes,
Absolutely.
They do. Do they flip out because they don't know what we're talking about?
Nope.
No, they do not.
They get into it.
And I think we just have to get over this idea that we have to understand everything. There is something fun about getting lost in the music.
I love when the cultures just clash, right?
Me too.
There's this album from 2011 by this group called the Heavy Manners that I love, and the name of the album is Survival.
Okay.
And it's Japanese. They're a Japanese dub reggae band.
Oh, there's a lot going on there.
And they have a lot of the songs have dancehall singer Rumi on it, and it is great.
Okay.
I will send it to you.
Please.
You guys need to check that out. Really, we're gonna put together a really cool, interesting playlist.
I was listening to this guy. Spotify always has these great Afro beat, whatever.
Yeah.
And I hate the qualification of it being world music because that again makes it sound like we're the first world and they're the third world. But think about it: there are no artists who don't speak English as their native language in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
Fela, come on. Bob Marley, even though it's in English, it's still considered world music. It's ridiculous. But there's that guy. You go on Spotify and listen to these amazing lists, these amazing singers. It's music, and we shouldn't be flipped out.
Music is universal.
No, it really isn't. We shouldn't
try something new.
No, yeah, we shouldn't be flipped out because it would be like saying I'm not going to eat this kind of food because I can't pronounce it.
Listen, I love the textures and the flavors of all music from all over the world.
Right.
I just love it. And
the one music I don't like? I
What?
don't like those Chinese guys playing violins in the subway, though.
Okay, you know what the
No, I don't. It's just I don't like atonal stuff.
Right.
No, I don't. It's not because they're Chinese or it's the subway. I don't like atonal music. I don't. I'm not an atonal girl. I'm a tonal girl.
Yeah, listen, like, Charlotte Adige put out, she's Belgian and Caribbean, and she had an EP in 2019. And, like, listen, like, it's just such good music.
Look, there's good and bad everywhere. There's crap everywhere. There's great stuff everywhere. But we just have to stop being. I'm glad to see that people like that young black kids are into Burna Boy.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like that. I like the fact that people are making these connections. Listen, we live in a global world.
I really do believe if you expose people to shit,
they'll
and
like
you let
it.
them really hear it and let them say, you know what? You may not understand it, but you'll feel this shit if you hear it and you listen to some of these beats, and it's a good moment.
You go to a Yusuf show. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's all in Wolof. It's or in French, 2 languages, and you cannot help but move. You can feel someone's fucking. Listen, if knowing the language were the case, there would be no Catholics in this country because they went to Latin Mass for years and they had no idea what anybody was saying. Right?
Right.
All right. So another week of Meghan McCain.
Oh, Lord.
Here's the thing. It's funny. Courtney and I must be on the same biorhythm because you and I have both sort of like we've reached our saturation point with this fucking bitch. But I think she did it again. Oops, she did it again this week because she started pulling her martyr card and her lecturing card. And when Whoopi said, I'm 63 years old. I've seen this movie.
She was like, I'm 35, and she was like, "Bitch." Like you could. She look. I was like, you could tell Whoopi's got that different thing because like I probably would have jumped across the table. Like I fucking had it with you. I fucking heard it with you.
I'm slapping the privilege off of you.
She was like, yes, and I've lived half more than you.
Right. It wasn't like that. You don't know anything. It's
She's
just that
I've seen a lot of shit.
Right. Like you can't talk.
And then she was trying to say, like your father. Don't compare him to my father. It was like, oh bitch.
It's a drinking game. If we could only drink at 11 in the morning, the drinking game would be. But needless to say that Meghan McCain, because she is a martyr, is she's doing her thing. There will never be any reason not to hate her. But this week, Donald Trump has surpassed her in how much we hate something. So, Meghan, you're off the hook this week, baby.
You're off the hook this week. Well, we love you, kids.
Yeah, thank you for Canal Street. I'm at Canal Street Radio. We want to thank them again for
Listening Party Presents.
Please,
Peter, thank you very much.
Yes, Ryan, thank you very much.
And I want to send a special shout out to my boy Joshua, who's going through some health issues right now.
Yeah.
But he listens to us. He's
hi,
he listens to us while he's having his treatments.
Hi,
and
Joshua.
He's like,
I hope to meet you soon.
And he's like, you guys, I love hearing your voice, and he's doing his art. And, he's strong and he's fighting. And Josh, this show is dedicated to you.
Yeah,
love
Joshua,
you.
We love you too. All right, everybody, have a great, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett. Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's fantasypoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. Fantasypoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.